So my name is Charlie Wilson. I'm a colonel with the Army, and I'm actually in the process of retiring at this point. And my brick is listed as not forgotten. All six of those that are listed were pretty salient in my time, and one of which I actually never knew. So the first two is my grandfather and my father. My grandfather, he served in World War I, and he actually was released from the Navy due to lack of funds during the Great Depression. So that was kind of unique that we discovered in genealogy. My father, he was a World War II vet and then served as a JAG officer in Korea and Vietnam. He actually was the one carrying a lot of generational type of influences, always saying how valuable it was to have served his time in the service and influenced myself and my brother in serving all the way to retirement. Next is what we like to dub Mighty Joe. He ended up retiring as a first sergeant, but Joe, he was one of those folks that took a young lieutenant and started to groom when I was young in my career in the 90s. And we knew each other and even deployed together all the way until 2003. And he passed away a couple years ago. And so I was able to actually attend that funeral and actually meet his wife for the first time in that time frame. Kevin Bender, he deployed with me in 2005, and up until that point never knew him, but we became lifelong friends in the process of getting ready to deploy and then finally deploying. They identified that he had a heart condition at the end of that deployment, ended up living with me for over a year as he was getting treated in San Antonio. But I tell you that Kevin, in that time frame during that deployment, we were actually able to cultivate some relationship, and I was able to find some solace in going over to his hooch, and he had a little frame of his daughter, and in that frame he had a little recording, and his daughter would always say, "I love you, Daddy," and he called her baby girl, and that was something from home that we could all kind of wrap our heads around and so forth and find solace in. And then Jim Hannigan, he actually succumbed to cancer, the second bout of cancer, just last year. Both Jim and the last one here, Steve, passed away just last year. Jim, we had actually only met one time, ironically enough. Most of our engagements were over the phone and email and so forth, and he was particularly helpful in helping me through a very tough time in my career. And we actually had ties to Drexel University when we served both as professors of military science. And he was very helpful to me, and hopefully I was helpful to him as well. And then Steve, I knew him back in 2006 when I first got to the Flying Tigers, flying Apaches with them out of Fort Knox, Kentucky. And he, like Joe, in many ways was some of that sage-like advice. Even though I was a bit further along in my career by that time, he still was that guy that carried Vietnam era type of influences and mentorship and so forth that lasted an entire career up until his passing just last year, and continues to sit with me even to this day. He had influences on not just me, but many others, and they even called him Yoda for most of his life because he had such good influences.